everyone. Good morning, children. Let us come back to the session Cell, its Structure and Function, Part 3. I, Vijayalakshmi, DAV RTPP Kadapa, Faculty in Department of Science. Now, let us have a quick recapitulation of yesterday's topic, Cell, its Structure and Function. Previous class, we have learnt about endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, mitochondria. Endoplasmic reticulum are of two types: smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum are responsible for lipid synthesis, whereas rough endoplasmic reticulum are responsible for protein synthesis. Now coming to the Golgi bodies, the main function of Golgi bodies is to pack the proteins, alter the proteins, and to distribute to the destination. Now coming to the mitochondria, the very important organelle. The mitochondria are called as powerhouses of cell because they generate energy for all the cellular activities. This mitochondria is a double membrane structure, and the outer and inner membrane. The inner membrane is thrown into number of finger-like projections called cristae. The inner space inside the cristae we call it as matrix, and these mitochondria produce energy in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate, and this ATP are also called as energy currency. Now children, let us come back to the next topic, lysosomes. Lysosomes are the spherical vesicles filled with the digestive enzymes or destructive enzymes. Lysis means breakdown. Soma means cell. These lysosomes are responsible for breaking of cell. Whenever the cell become worn out or deactivated, the cell is broken down by these lysosomes. These lysosomes are the spherical vesicles with the digestive enzymes. These lysosomes are the waste disposable system of the cell. Now let us recall the functions of lysosomes. Lysosomes contain number of destructive enzymes or digestive enzymes. Whenever the cell, it break down the cellular waste, and also it break down the improper packed proteins, and it also destroy the invading foreign bodies like bacteria and viruses. The lysosomes present in the WBC will engulf the bacteria and other foreign body that invade our body and protect our body from diseases. And these lysosomes are also called as suicidal bags. Let us discuss why they are called as suicidal bags. Whenever the cell will become old or non-functional, a lysosomal blast takes place and releases all the digestive or destructive enzymes into the cell and destroy the entire cell. That's why they are called as suicidal bags. Total cell get destroyed and the cell dies. That's why lysosomes are called as suicidal bags. And lysosomes destroy the worn out cell, deactivated cell, worn out cell organelles, and helps and clean the cell by taking down all the cellular waste. Now let us go for the another important organelle called plastids. Plastids are the very special organelle exclusively seen only in the plant cells, and animal cells are devoid of plastids. We cannot come across plastids in the animal cell. Now these plastids are divided into three types based on their color: chloroplast, leucoplast, chromoplast. Chloroplast. This chloro means green. The meaning chloro means green. Leucoplast, the word leuco means white or colorless. Chromo means colored. Let us first go back to the chloroplast. Chloroplast are the green colored plastids seen in the green parts of the plant, especially leaves. When you observe the leaf cells under microscope, we can find the abundance of chloroplast, a green colored organelles called chloroplast in the leaves, especially in the leaves. And these chloroplasts contain a very special colored pigment called chlorophyll, which is green in color. This chlorophyll trap the solar energy In presence of carbon dioxide and water, prepare starch. The main function of chlorophyll is to trap the solar energy. Chlorophyll traps the solar energy. And this solar energy along with the carbon dioxide and water prepare food material, and this process is called photosynthesis. Let us discuss the chloroplast, the structure of the chloroplast. As usual, like mitochondria, chloroplast is also a double membrane structure, and this chloroplast contains a loop of DNA. Children, you please listen carefully. The three important organelles that contain DNA is nucleus, mitochondria, followed by chloroplast. And that's why these three important organelles, these three are very important because of presence of DNA. DNA is a genetic material. Now this chloroplast, as usual, it is a double membrane structure, outer membrane, inner membrane. Inside the chloroplast, there is a colorless area called stroma. Inside the stroma, we can see some coin-like structure piled one above the other. This coin-like structure, we call it as thylakoids. The piled up the thylakoids, we call them as grana. The two important reactions that occur in photosynthesis, we call them as light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction takes place in grana chloroplast, and dark reaction takes place in stroma of chloroplast. This grana is responsible for trapping the solar energy, and stroma is responsible for the formation of starch or glucose. All these reactions we learn in class 10th. So now going to the next part of the plastids is leucoplast. Leuco means white. See, when we observe a plant cell under a microscope, we find the abundant chloroplast. Apart from the chloroplast, we come across some white colored organelles. These white colored organelles, we call it as leucoplast. The food material that is synthesized by photosynthesis will be stored in the various parts of the plant cells. Especially the excess food in the plant is stored in leucoplast. The best example for the leucoplast, potato. Everybody like to eat potato. Potato contains leucoplast. That's why potato is white in color, and the leucoplast stores starch in the potato. Starch in potato. Potato is rich in starch. Now coming to the next plastid, even this leucoplast is seen in almost all the stoorest part of the plant, even in the root, stem, etc. Now coming to the chromoplast. Chromo means color. When we see the plant cell under microscope, apart from these white colored plastids, we come across different kinds colored plastids, like red, orange, yellow. These colored plastids, we call them as chromoplast. Because of this chromoplast only, the flowers, the rose petals are bright red in color, yellow in color. Different colored substance we see in fruits, vegetables and flowers is due to the chromoplast. Chromo means color. But these chromoplasts have the two major common pigments. They have many pigments, children, but the two common pigments, we call it as xanthophylls or carotene. Xanthophylls will give yellow color and carotene will give orange color. And very interesting thing about the chromoplast is, plastids can change from one form to another form. Have you observed, children, the tomatoes? Unripened tomatoes will be green in color because they contain chloroplast. And slowly this unripened tomato, green colored tomato, turns into red color. That means these chloroplasts have been changed into chromoplast. There is a progressive decrease in the chloroplast, increase in the chromoplast. Not only tomatoes, chilies, raw mangoes, bananas, all these change from one form to another form. Brinjal, you can recall apple, you can recall so many things, children. You can have so many examples which change the color from one form to another form. Now coming back to the next important organelle, ribosomes. Already we discussed about ribosomes, and these ribosomes are granular structure, granulate structure present in the cytoplasm. Some of the ribosomes are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. So such type of endoplasmic reticulum, we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Some of the ribosomes are present freely in the cytoplasm, and the ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis. These ribosomes are formed from nucleolus. You know children, already we learnt about nucleus. Inside the nucleus, a dark staining part is seen. This dark staining structure, we called it as nucleolus. Nucleolus are responsible for the formation of ribosomes. Now we go for vacuoles. These vacuoles are the fluid-filled bags, fluid-filled structures. They are also called as the storage units of the cell. Storage units of the cell. And these vacuoles are very small in animal cell, or sometimes they are absent in the animal cell. Very few unicellular organism possesses vacuoles like contractile vacuoles, food vacuoles, etc. Now coming to the plant cell possesses a very large vacuole. When the plant is young, the vacuoles are very small. As the plant grows, the size of the vacuole also increases, and it occupies the 80% of volume of the cell. And this vacuole, because of this large vacuole, the nucleus of plant cell will be pushed to the peripheral of the cell. Usually in animal cell, we see nucleus centrally located, but whereas in the plant cell, the nucleus is pushed to the peripheral because of this large size vacuole. Very large vacuole you come across in the plant cell, children. One second. It occupies the entire cell, pushing the nucleus to the periphery. This is a large vacuole. And the main function, I've already explained that it is a storage unit of cell. This main function of this vacuole is, vacuole stores all the waste material that is formed in the plant cell. Not only store the waste material, it also stores water, ions, sugars, amino acids, etc. And these vacuoles are the storage unit of the cell. And plants do not possess any excretory system, so majority of the waste material will be stored in the vacuole. Not only this, the secondary metabolites like alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums, all these are stored in the vacuole. We'll discuss about secondary metabolites. Plants have two types of metabolites, primary metabolites, secondary metabolites. Regarding these metabolites, we'll discuss in class 10th. Now we go back to the cell theory. Already children, in class 8, you have studied about Robert Hooke. That was the first person who observed the cell. And after Robert Hooke's discovery of cell, nearly it has taken 200 years to propose a cell theory. This cell theory was postulated by two major scientists. The first major scientist is Marcus Jakob Schleiden, a botanist, a German botanist, who observed the plant cells, who observed the plant and said that all the plants are made up of cells. All the plants have the same type of cells with the same type of organelles. Now coming to the another scientist, Theodor Schwann, a zoologist. Botanist means the person who study about plants, and zoologist means the person who studies about animals. And Schwann was a zoologist. He observed the animal cell, and he said that all the animals are made up of cells. All the animals are made up of cells. Both Schleiden and Schwann proposed a theory called cell theory. According to the cell theory, all the living organisms are made up of cells and their products. All the living organisms are made up of cells and their products. Either it's a plant or animal, whether it is a unicellular animals, all the living organisms are made up of cells. But these two scientists They did not explain how the cells are formed. Another scientist called Rudolf Virchow. He studied the cell division and he said that cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Suppose one cell is here, the cell will divide and form into daughter cells. From where these daughter cells are formed? These daughter cells are formed from these pre-existing cells. These cells again divided into daughter cells. Like that, the cell division continues. The cell division continues. And this Rudolf Virchow said that cells are formed from pre-existing cells, and he gave a phrase omnicellular decellular, a phrase given by Virchow. Omnicellular decellular. Omnicellular decellular means cells are formed from pre-existing cells. And these three proposed a cell theory: Schleiden, Schwann, Rudolf Virchow. All these three proposed a cell theory which became a very popular theory. Now, after the discovery of Robert Hooke's cell, it nearly took 200 years to propose a cell theory. 200 years to propose a cell theory. Thank you, children. I hope you all understood this lesson. Let us go for the assignment. Thank you, one and all.